Well, good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television show, and it's 8 p.m. Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. We have been in lockdown. Are you ready for this? This is week 9.
Million.
Yeah, million. I'm your host and moderator, Al Ferguson, and good evening. You're watching a shot right now that you haven't seen in almost 3 months.
Years.
Or years.
Millennia.
Decades, whatever it is. Let me just run around the table real quick. First, our guest host tonight is Misty Eyes, who's also covering for Aaron Darr on Q News tonight during the pandemic. Misty, welcome to It's Happening Out. You having fun at Q?
Yes, having a blast.
Yeah, and we're going to have fun tonight, all entertainment, all laughs. And that upper, also Napoleon Plays. Good evening, Napoleon. How's your week been?
Oh my God, it's actually been picking up pretty well. I've found new ways to make friends that are all with antibodies. I'm making sure that that's like my new favorite thing. You want to be my friend? Show me that antibody test. We're good to go.
Dude, I have antibodies and I'm not going to do that with you.
No, thank you.
I'm just not doing it.
You've been rejected for other reasons. Yeah. But everyone else out there, sexy man, nice bodied. Dude,
I keep telling you, I'm not going to. That's all there is to it.
I said man.
All right. So, and here in studio at the World AIDS Museum is mayoral candidate Chef Josie.
Hey.
Is with us tonight. Also antibody defensive.
Positive.
Yeah. Sexy antibody over here.
How's your week been since you announced that you were running for mayor?
I'll say that again, Al. I'm sorry.
How was your week since... Wait, let me do it in sign language.
Yeah.
We're socially isolated, and she is all the way across the room from me.
Right.
How's your week been since you announced that you were running for mayor?
Oh man, this is exciting. This is a new frontier for me. I'm so excited to just throw my hat in the ring and really come out and be a contribution. This is another level for me of leadership. So I'm excited. There's been such a great response. It sounds like Wilton Manors is looking forward to a shift, and I'm ready to step in there and help us lead us out of this dust.
That's
good luck, Josie.
Great and exciting, and good luck. We'll continue to follow the process. Now, there's 2 people in this screen that I barely recognize. First off, I think that's Power Infiniti up in Lakeland.
Hello,
good evening,
darkness,
Power.
my old friend.
How's your week been? We lost you last week, and a time when we really needed you, because guess what? We were talking about, well, whatever we were talking about, and we needed you. Welcome back.
Thank you. My week's been moist.
Why would you say that as your first?
Yeah.
Lesbians don't like
and
that
are you
word.
talking about with your husband, or what exactly is it that you're talking about?
With my mangina.
Okay. And wait, and there's somebody here. Gosh, wait, is this a record? Do we have 2 trans people at It's Happening Out simultaneously?
Hey.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't think I've ever been live on the show.
What a progressive show we are.
Live on the show together before.
I thought they were.
Well, that is mostly because they're mortal enemies.
No.
All trans people are mortal enemies of each other.
That is not true.
I thought there was only one trans person pretending to be every trans person. So now I see that there
But I was a special guest for a brief moment with Aaron, but I've never been a full...
Well, America, of course, you know the picture you're looking at is Aaron Phoenix up in Pinellas County, St. Petersburg.
Aaron.
Welcome. Tell us what your life has been in quarantine, because it's been like literally 9 weeks, hasn't it? 10 weeks?
Has it been that long? I mean, honestly, I'll be real with you. Very little of my life has changed. This is like...
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
This is the contactless world that my anxiety has longed for years. So I'm kind of doing pretty okay with it.
How are you doing? How are you doing in the angry sex department? Because you're going to play Shag, Marry, Chop tonight. So I'm looking forward to some angry sex.
Well, there's a reason my hair is not done tonight, so I got that out of the way.
Oh dear. All right. Well, I'm going to move on quickly. So, America, we're all back together again, and we're excited that we are. We're going to have fun tonight. Let's begin right off the bat with happening now. It's our breaking news. And of course, we are in our It's Happening Now breaking news, reporting on what's going on, of course, in COVID-19. Have you heard? We declared war today. Well, we didn't, but someone did, and that was the CDC. It's war between the CDC and the White House. And high-ranking officials at the CDC have said to CNN, we've been muzzled. And sources at the CDC says the White House has put politics ahead of the people of the United States. We've prepared this story. Watch this.
Multiple sources inside the Centers for Disease Control tell CNN they are convinced politics, not science, is the driving force behind the White House response to COVID-19. And those decisions have made the effects of the pandemic in the United States worse.
Now, there hasn't been as much input from the CDC, from my point of view.
CNN spoke to 6 current CDC staff members, and many of them say the White House has stifled the CDC in its coronavirus response, and at times limited its ability to provide health information to the public. One source telling CNN, we are working under a black cloud of an administration that doesn't have our backs. Another saying, we've been muzzled. Dr. James Curran is Dean of Public Health at Emory University and former Assistant Surgeon General at the CDC.
Has the CDC been sidelined here?
I think the perception is that the CDC has been sidelined, at least part of the time. Once you feel like the work you're doing is going through a political lens, it gets to be very, very discouraging.
Well, you know, if you're watching Q News tonight, every night at 7 o'clock, the world of COVID and the White House is just crazy as all get out. And here is a new layer of it. Many people suspected this was going on with the CDC in terms of their being muted. They did the warning in mid-January. It was ignored. They basically have come out. High-level officials, anonymously, but to CNN, have said lots of life has been lost because of decision-making of what has been done of the politics. What do you all think about the news that broke from CNN?
Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do when the Centers for Disease Control of our country, the people that keep us safe in our country, the division of our government meant to keep us from catching infectious diseases or any diseases, is at odds with the White House. I mean, if our leaders are essentially not going to obey what they're saying, if they're not going to obey science and what we get from that, then what value is our leadership? If they can't lead us with the facts and statistics they have, why do we have them? We can make better sense without them.
Other thoughts, people?
The fact of the matter is,
so this
we
is,
have...
Go ahead, Josie.
No, you go ahead.
You go ahead, Power.
Welcome, Power.
Well, this is the first time that I'm actually hearing this story. I'm hearing it fresh right now. Usually when we all get together, we actually plan and know what what the stories are going to be. I wasn't able to look at the program beforehand. So this is fresh to me. So I'm going to give you my raw reaction.
We like it raw.
I feel like, yes, so do I. I feel that, I feel right now that this should not really come as a surprise to any of us that know that the same administration that denies the science of climate change would deny any type of scientific information that comes out especially during a situation like this. And my raw first reaction is absolute anger. I kind of feel that the deaths that occur thanks to COVID, because of COVID-19, are really on the hands, the blood is on the hands of the president. And frankly, I feel it's on the hands of every single person that voted for him. You voted for this, and this is what we've come to. This is what we have.
Powerful
Well
words.
said.
Yeah, and Josie, you were going to jump.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here, and it's trickling down all the way to the municipality level, is the different messages that are coming from many different directions. We need one voice that's leading us so that we can all be on the same page moving forward. If we can't even adhere to CDC guidelines, like Napoleon said, who has been established to keep our country safe for years, generations. Who else are we supposed to rely on? And those scientific studies have been put in place for us so that we can move forward safely. Just look at the testing numbers. That gives you, we haven't met thresholds. We're reopening the economy. We're doing it balls to the wall like Lone Rangers, and it's just putting more lives at risk.
I can retweet basically everything Ms. Power said, but I will add, I wonder if this wasn't an election year, if it would be so politically led.
And Aaron, any thoughts about?
You know what? I actually think if it wasn't an election year, it would be worse, because this is Trump on his best behavior because it's an election year.
You have a point, yeah.
So can you only imagine if it wasn't?
Well, we won't have an election. He's just going to be king. He's going to delay it just like Hungary did.
Aaron, anything we haven't heard from you about the CDC? What do you think in COVID?
Yeah, I can mostly just echo what was already said. But, again, it's an ironic situation where, the White House only wants to listen to science when it comes to our chromosomes, right? When it comes to conversations about gender.
Yeah,
but they don't want to talk about science when it comes to, viruses or climate change or anything that's really actually affecting people's lives.
Interesting.
We are. None of us should be surprised.
Interesting. Before we continue on and out of our COVID conversation for tonight, to that exact point, all of your points really. Let's talk about a few facts. First, this week, the World Health Organization has been threatened to withhold U.S. funding of World Health. Every country in the world signed on to that resolution to unite as a world. At the same time, the United States is threatening, Trump is threatening to withhold funds.
Trump is threatening.
And the results of our non-commitment to science, Aaron's point that he just made, was that the United States has the largest number of cases by far. We have 30% of all the cases on this planet. Now, you can argue with President Trump over testing equals cases. However, we also report every night at Q News Tonight, we are almost 30% of all the deaths on the planet. And we only have 4% of the population and 30% of the deaths. That is directly a rejection of science, the points that have
With that logic, you'll never get pregnant if you don't take a pregnancy test.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's move out of our CDC war. We're going to watch it closely. We're going to be talking about it, and we're going to see how things go. Good evening again, America. You're watching, as we said at the top of the show, the world's most popular live gay television show. We are going to talk about so many of the interesting stories going on in the LGBT community next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out.
In case it's obvious, but the majority was really fun. I really felt emboldened with each news.
They're sending their love and condolences following the heartbreaking death of her 21-year-old son, Beckett Cypher.
Our new game, Saved by the Bell.
These two guys have come into these areas.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest host, Misty Eyes. With your host, lifestyle expert Napoleon Plays. Reality TV star, Chef Josie. Trans activist, Aaron Phoenix. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. And our moderator, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, welcome back, America. As we told you in our opening package, we are live. Anything can happen because we are live. I'm contractually, because of attorneys. Last week, Power was in the show, and we lost him at about minute 15 or 16 in the show. And I'm now legally required to say that it wasn't a technical failure. I bumped him out of the show. And that's because... so we're live, and if we lose Power again tonight, we're live. Of course, you're watching It's Happening Out. This is the world's most popular live gay television show. And we thank you for your support of It's Happening Out.
Now, please make sure to like and share and start a watch party. And that's on all platforms, Facebook, YouTube. We've got a video prepared for you. Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
Well, it's as easy as that. We hope you'll support sharing it with your friends. Of course, you know one of our big sponsors, when you get ready to come back to South Florida, is the Best Western here in Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors at I-95. And Power and Aaron are such divas, we couldn't even get them to come over to the set tonight. They're sitting in their rooms at the Best Western here in Fort Lauderdale. Tell us how your rooms are tonight here, Aaron. Power, everything good for you? Room service excellent?
It's got a very odd sense of comfort to it. It feels almost like a home away from home, really.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so homey.
It's homey. It's a very spacious room at the Best Western.
You know,
The housekeeping
They gave me the executive suite.
Yeah, really? Like I said, America, divas.
We are broadcasting from our permanent set in the middle of the World AIDS Museum and Education Center here in the heart of Wilton Manors. We are also in Fort Lauderdale, the gayest place on planet Earth.
America, we are sitting in the middle of this live museum, living museum, and we thank Concepto Modern Living here in Fort Lauderdale for helping to make this set possible.
And we are proud to share with you that our LGBTQ television network supports the unique live broadcast of Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday church service, the world's most popular LGBTQ queer religious broadcast. And we are proud of our diverse 501c3 and charitable support.
We're very excited. Just a brief mention of how Happening Out Television Network is doing. We have reporting today from Alexa Analytics that the Happening Out Television Network, through It's Happening Out, is in web traffic to our video productions, this show, etc., is now broken the top 10,000, the elite 10,000. We are, as of today, 9,462 in the most popular websites in the United States. And remember, that's out of 900 million.
Wow.
There is no LGBT product even close to us. And combined with April's views, you watched us in YouTube and in Facebook. More than 2.2 million of you viewed us in April. So we thank you very much. Now, let's have some fun, move right into the show. Let's begin as we always do. We connect online, digitally, and that means a meme. And it tells so many of our stories. None of the hosts have seen this meme. We're going to watch it now. It's called Zoom Reminds Me Of.
Oh, God.
And Zoom reminds me of, I don't know if it's a digital or a static meme. Oh, it's a digital.
Yes! That's how I feel right now.
Finally understood what Zoom meetings remind me of. You know, it's funny as we're watching this. Did anybody hear of Zoom before COVID-19?
Of course.
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
But I heard of
busy
it.
people.
No. Power and I are going, we didn't have time for
Oh,
that.
you're also the oldest two that are here.
You're not
Oh,
professional.
Power, did you hear that? Napoleon just called
It
you
doesn't
the
matter
oldest.
when you look this good.
Yeah, it's true, Al. What's your fault? But seriously, I always think of that too. Thank you for that meme because I always think of the Muppets when that's happening, and I never put that together.
You know, it's funny because I'm watching this shot right now of all six, and with you in the middle, the old grumpy guy from the Muppets. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Waldorf.
Wait, Aaron, I saw you grimace there. Zoom catches every moment.
Does it? Oh man, my facial expressions are like really under a microscope with
Yeah,
this. I don't know how I feel about
9
it.
weeks of no practice has made you a little rusty, it seems.
That
I'll work.
happens too.
I'll work in no
All
play.
right, let's move on to our game. I'd swallow that. We have some shots here. I've got to hold it up because you can't see our whole set table. And everyone in America, you know how we play this. Get a beer real quick, or get some gin, or as Josie would say, get some tequila, or Live Proud vodka. Whatever it is of your beverage of choice. And I'm going to ask a question. If you agree with it, you take the shot. If you don't touch your shot. Everyone here apparently is very over anxious because they have their shots very near their mouth already.
Thirsty.
Power, you've got something to drink? Power.
Did you not see me with my
Oh,
glass?
no, I didn't see the...
Power with her chalice.
You're,
With the Holy
somebody
Grail.
Said this, wait, somebody said this last week. Asked if you were really drinking that much wine. I said, child, that's why we had to cut him off at 17 minutes. And Aaron, you've got a drink?
I've never done this show before, so
Well
You know,
said.
9 weeks, and I haven't missed you for
I
a
forgot.
second. Not a second.
I
All
forgot
right.
that we do shots.
There's that
Right.
drag
All right.
background.
Let's play I'd Swallow That. All right. You ready? Question number 1. And none of us have seen these questions either. Question number 1. I have fooled around with people others wouldn't expect to be my type.
In our lifetime?
It doesn't define that. So
In my lifetime, yes.
Power's going to
This
get
week,
off the
no.
hook. Oh, no, he's going to try to get off the hook. I wish I had the wine glass. That's more fun than the shot. Somebody tell me who they fooled around with that is different than what we would expect their type to be. Wait, let me get it out of the way. Napoleon revealed on And It's Happening Out that he was so horny that he would do a tree.
No.
So that's something.
But
we
who wouldn't
expect.
expect that now? That's the problem. People would expect me to
That's not
just
unusual.
sleep with anyone. So, like, I don't know, there's a rat that's running by.
Oh.
Did you hear Aaron? Aaron said that's not
I did.
unusual.
I called that rat Little Fergie, by the way.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Somebody tell me a type.
Somebody
Well,
make this less awkward.
The first time that I had sex with another black guy, that was a big shock to my friends because up until that time, I thought that I didn't like other black guys. And as a matter of fact, I would be at a club. Sometimes I'd be at a club and I'd be dancing, and another black guy would come up and try to pick me up. And my friends were so sure that they thought they knew my taste so well that they would intervene and say, don't even try it. He's not going to be interested. So the first time that I hooked up with another black guy, that was definitely a shocker.
Wait, were you a white supremacist on the dance floor? Is that what I
Oh,
just
Lord.
heard?
No, child, but this is blackface. I'm really white.
I mean, I thought he was talking about when we first hooked up.
Oh, well, I'm curious. I'm curious. Wait. I'm curious. Was it a good experience? Did you like it?
It was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have hooked up with somebody that wasn't.
Try it sometimes, Al.
Okay.
That's a longer story than
That's
we
a
have
long
time for.
story.
Prime
Somebody else, a different type than we
Josie,
expect?
don't get excited. I am not a lesbian. I have my gold card to prove it. However, there are many times in the past I might have had a drink or two and usually was in drag also on the dance floor. But I've made out with a lot of women on the dance floor just to freak out everybody because they'd be like, what the fuck? Like gagged. Like everyone would just full stop.
But wait,
Total
isn't
gag.
that also for tips?
No, I wasn't performing. I was just
Oh,
having
okay,
fun.
so not a prostitute.
I've made out with...
Oh, my goodness.
It's okay, there's no shame. There's no shame.
And this is not bathhouse. I mean, we've all lowered our bar when we've been in situations where we were just, extra horny. But I'm talking about
Every day of COVID.
Yeah.
You know, Aaron, I have to tell you, I have a big television monitor in front of me, so I'm watching your face. I'm micro-analyzing every expression on your face. You took the shot. What did you pursue that we wouldn't expect?
Y'all are going to be confused no matter what my actual type is. Let's start
True.
there. So
That
I
is
mean,
probably
no
true.
matter which direction I go, it's going to be questionable and concerning to somebody.
A teddy bear?
So
That was
I
a
mean,
very clever answer that didn't answer my question. So I'll return back to it.
Josh,
What kind of
Speaking of politics,
type? would surprise
kind of
us.
type.
It's a magical anime girl.
Well,
No.
there's the fact that my partner voted for Trump, so we're still fighting about that one. But
That's
that
right.
probably goes against what
I had
people would
forgotten
expect.
that's a mic drop. You finish on that question. Let's move to question number 2. I'd swallow that. I have stalked someone's social media because I thought they were hot.
Oh,
geez, I hate
Stalked?
to admit this.
I mean,
yeah, but it always turns out to be a robot or like a Russian or like somebody that's not really a person. Or there's somebody that you know from Grindr, and that's even more uncomfortable because then they're a human if you know them from Grindr and then you find we recommend you for some reason because you're friends with them on Grindr and have tried to hook up 3 times.
I have laughed every single day since the last broadcast of last Wednesday of Facebook stories because Facebook stories has become soft porn. It's guys, it's gay guys
Clickbait.
that are getting as naked as they possibly can get and doing it in a quick Facebook.
Then you'll love Instagram. Instagram is just straight up porn now.
Yeah.
It took over what Tumblr did. It is actually just dick. It's great.
You actually
well, definitely
see-
on your feed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Fine.
Mine is food, guys. Okay, you know what
the
I
correct
mean?
feed would have dick, hot guy. There it goes.
And
bouncing.
Josie's is vagina.
I know it's actually food. It's
Hey,
food.
hey,
Food community.
Mine
Food
is
community.
food too. Okay, you can eat it.
I will
Y'all's
admit.
algorithms are real easy to figure out.
Yeah, exactly right.
I will admit that I have cyber stalked and followed on Instagram and Twitter one of the guys that David put into our Chop.
Shag, Marry, Chop?
That one.
Do you know who?
Of course I know who.
Are you going to say who it is?
No.
Why not?
David
Oh,
knows.
come on, tell us.
Yaki.
David, who was it? Oh, was it?
Yaki boy.
Oh, wow, Yaki boy.
I have a
All right.
fetish for other people's fetishes, so now I'm going to have to look him up.
Surprise for me, Mike Ruiz. Oh my gosh, in the last
yeah.
month, he has just, he's exploded again.
I thought he was
All
a
right,
friend.
Wait, has
he
Josie
is a
stalked
friend.
anybody?
Well, I don't really. I use that word loosely. I like to say that I research.
Dude, it's food. Yeah.
I researched what they were creating. And,
Let's move on to question number 3. I'd swallow that. I have disguised my appearance to go out anonymously.
Power. Every gay person on the planet.
Man.
Every theater person.
Aaron, you have not done that. Oh, you just
I'm
took
just laughing because the word choice of these questions can be so easily made into a trans joke at any given time. That it's like,
Basically, there's no one
working
here
out
that has
great.
it.
And Power, you did not drink there, did you?
Oh, I mean, I didn't drink enough, maybe, but
All right. Well, somebody tell me.
I mean,
Go ahead.
For me, as well as a lot of other performers, the disguise is actually no makeup. So if I want to have some anonymity, I don't go out as Power. And because Power is such an extreme look, it's not just a cover girl look. I can't get away with what Misty can get away with. Right. It's such an extreme look that once I take off the makeup, I can usually go and just be sexy old Dale and not be recognized as Power.
Wait,
Dale.
is that an adjective that is frequently used by
Sexy
people around?
old Dale.
It is.
Old
well,
Dale.
old Dale, my dear.
Old Dale.
The sexy
Remember, she
part,
didn't
and
like
it's
him,
happening
so.
out is also legally required to.
Oh, it's
to use
wait.
that as well.
Did my attorney sign that agreement too? I swear, my
Darren
job
did.
sucks here. It just
No, but she's
sucks.
right. When you're in drag, you just take off your makeup, put on a ball cap, and nobody knows who you
I
are.
don't know. Answering the real question,
right.
I always love to go out dressed differently, either like Marsha Brady with her like teeth like done up or like glasses on. I think it's really fun to change how you look and pretend to be a different person when you go out. You can use an accent. Has anyone else gone to Epcot when it used to exist in the before times?
We're not talking about Halloween, dude. I think this is a little bit of a different
Halloween
kind of
every day, yeah,
situation.
and you go with a different accent to each of the countries.
But to be
figure it
fair,
out.
he's never been famous.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna leave
It's
it
not
right there.
acceptable, but it's
Let's
understandable.
Why does he
let
have to
that
hide?
soundbite just seep in. All right, let's move on to question number 4. Wait, this question. I'd swallow that. I have a love-hate relationship with Al.
It's half right.
I'm not taking that shot.
Do I want to be back ever again? I'll
Wait,
just.
Power, did you just jam down that entire bottle of wine?
I hope we don't have no more questions because I finished my.
You know. All right, somebody want to explain themselves.
I think Misty got it right. I appreciate my spot on these shows.
You drank anyway.
I did drink anyway. Because you got to if you have a love-hate relationship with Al, you got to drink, but...
On Q News tonight, we reported a lady that works for the Florida Department of Health who was fired for doing her job. I'm just going to put that right.
How dare you?
Al, just so you know, I mean, I did take the shot, okay? Even though I love you, we have our hateful moments, and I think you probably have the same. It usually comes when we have to get something done, and you're such a pushy guy sometimes.
That's a good word.
And that is, but I also love that about you because your attention to detail and your need for excellence is truly honorable. So
My
I
gosh.
appreciate you.
All right. Wait.
I think that almost every one of us, I'm not sure about Misty, but I think that almost every one of us behind the scenes have had our knockdown dragouts with Al.
I've had arguments with Al as well.
Okay, so then every one of us has. But the thing about Al is that when Al infuriates you, he truly infuriates you. But at the same time, overall, he's such a loving person. He's such a kind person. And you can't help but to, in the end, love him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Let's finish the soundbite with Aaron. Go ahead, Aaron. Add on top of that.
Is it your birthday today?
We don't even need the knockdown, drag out fights off camera. We could just refer to the ones in our previous episodes.
That's right. We can show packages of It's Happening Out where it was completely real.
Listen, Al, I've said this to you before. I'll probably say it to you again. You're kind of an asshole, but that's also the kind of people that I tend to get along with.
Yes,
I agree with Josie. You can be a pain in the ass, but at the end of the day, it's usually for a decent enough reason that we can let it slide.
Right back at you. All right, that's our Meant with Love. That was that was our game. I'd swallow that. We play it every week. Make sure you tune in. Now, let's move into some celebrity hot topics. We want to talk about what's going on in the world, entertaining and fun. First, we report that Entertainment Weekly, for the June issue, pays tribute to gay Hollywood in its June issue. We're showing you some of the pictures about it. We wonder several things. First, does the LGBTQ community recognize some of the people from our history in LGBT? They do this as a Pride tribute, and by the way, there's virtually no prides going on. There might be some digital enhancements. So this is as close as we're going to have for Pride, which is really shocking because remember what was happening last June 28th, the 50th anniversary of Stonewall? Mm-hmm. The 51st anniversary of Stonewall will be very quiet. And that's true every city in America, including here in South Florida.
Not if you're reading entertainment.
What do y'all think, about Entertainment Weekly? What are your thoughts about that?
Of course, always... Go for it.
I got my copy already.
Oh, you did?
So, yes, it came in the mail, and I was super, super excited. I almost posted about it until I saw we were going to talk about it tonight.
Aaron Phoenix gets Entertainment Weekly
He's rich,
as a subscription?
He's rich.
Yeah, I have the RuPaul issue of Vogue too, and the what's the other one? The girl from Pose in L. Listen, you gotta hang on to your queer artifacts.
I thought you were against everything mainstream.
I was gonna say, I thought you were an what's the word?
Anarchist?
Yes.
Anti-establishment?
Yes, an anti-establishment.
Whatever. If it starts with anti, it probably applies.
Wow, that does.
Listen, just one of the many ways that I continue to surprise you guys.
Oh, and here's the surprise. Wait till you hear the magnificent embracement of Entertainment Weekly. Power, tell us about how much you love Entertainment Weekly.
Well, I don't really look at Entertainment Weekly or any mainstream
surprise face
follow, but I will say this. I think that it's wonderful that we have this spotlight, and I think that it really goes really well with the fact that right now the Netflix series Hollywood is all the rage, because it really is helping us to truly understand what some of our gay pioneers in Hollywood and in film went through. I mean, when you think of what they went through, that they had to lead their lives in such secrecy. And we can't really appreciate that now because we are so open. We live in a different time, a different age.
Yeah.
So when you think of the fact that a lot of people had to live their lives that way, especially under the spotlight of the Hollywood fame, I think it's great that we are giving an ode and a celebration to Hollywood and all, not only the ones that are our pioneers and our legends now, but those that went and paved the way.
I'm curious to Power's point. How many of you have seen the Netflix series Hollywood?
Yeah, it's
in
been
my
number
queue.
one trending.
Amazing.
In queue. Aaron, you
Sexy.
haven't seen it yet?
Everything's in my queue, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's amazing. It's
Well done.
to be watched. Ryan Murphy, who did Glee
Love him.
and so many other products, does an interesting thing in Hollywood. If you're not familiar with it, is he blends a story with in a fictional way with reality-based stars, including Rock Hudson and many others, and what went on in Hollywood. It's fantastic.
And really similarly to that, there's a great episode of Trial by Murder, which is a George Clooney thing film. It's It's 5 episodes, and it goes over the Jenny Jones case about if a gay person who comes out on TV.
I saw that.
Yeah, see that it's very similar. We've got a lot of gay media. I mean, Joe Exotic right now. There's a lot of Netflix gay media that's being pushed forward, and it's really
Now let's
exciting.
get the trans media now.
Yeah. In fact, Netflix has been under attack some about how progressive they've been on the LGBT community by, Million Moms, which there are 4 of them, of 1 million moms. Back to my question. Does the LGBTQ community recognize all of the faces like on that cover and in the episode? Do you think that they do?
I think everyone identifies with somebody, and part of it's the stylization to make them all look similarly, but I think everyone can turn through the pages and say, oh, I know this person, I know that person, but not just I know them, I can relate to them for these reasons. This is why they're a little bit my role model, and I think that's the goal.
There's only 2 people on the cover that I don't recognize.
Well, interesting. We're showing it to you right now, America, in that cover. John Waters is there.
Yeah.
I wonder how many under 30s recognize who
Yeah.
and what John Waters is. And that's the question here.
Yeah.
Do we keep our history close to us? In the black community,
We
I
have to.
imagine you would know every civil rights leader for the most part. It's taught and breathed and embraced. In the LGBT community,
Not so much.
we don't do that.
That's why hats off to Montgomery County in Maryland, who is teaching LGBTQ history to their actual students in high school as a trial.
Well, and I think we have a responsibility to not just talk about what a shame it is that the younger generations don't know these things, but to actually take it upon ourselves to teach them. They don't know until they know. You know what I mean? I didn't learn about my icons until somebody taught me. And we got to turn around and pass that torch on and carry those traditions on rather than just talk about how it should happen.
Well, let me ask you as the person with a kid, Aaron, do you do that with your child? Do you teach any LGBTQ?
Absolutely. Actually, I had a very, very proud moment. Power, you'll love this. Last few weeks ago, probably, I was talking to kiddo, and he told me that his favorite artists of all time are Freddie Mercury and Prince.
Yeah.
And I could not have ever possibly been a prouder parent than that moment.
Wow. That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
he's growing up in it. He's growing up in the attitude of it's not really weird or different, or we try to explain to him how things used to be, but it's kind of hard for him to wrap his head around that being gay used to be really a bad thing.
I'm curious. I don't know if production has a flash poll slide, but let's take a real quick one and modify it a little bit. We're a couple of weeks away from starting Pride Month. It's going to be probably one of the quietest Pride months that we've ever had. But real quickly, just the name. That's all I'm asking for. In salute to what Entertainment Weekly did. Tell us your tribute person from gay Hollywood. If you picked one person, who would it be? Napoleon?
Oh, God. Since I'm starting, right now I probably would still choose Ellen DeGeneres, but Ryan Murphy is pretty close.
Yeah, Murphy. Okay. Aaron, who would you pick in Hollywood? Your icon.
I probably would go with Laverne Cox, but I might be a little biased because I have a crush on her. So.
Okay. Okay. And Power, who would it be for you?
Divine.
Would it be Divine? Wow.
Fierce.
Awesome. I haven't heard the name in a while, and I got all amped up just hearing it. Misty, who would it
My
be?
first one was Laverne, and then I'm like, I'm going to go drag, and I went Divine. So now I'm going with RuPaul.
RuPaul, seriously?
Yeah,
Oh.
I have her books too. I'm a big fan, although I'm a little upset with her.
And Josie?
You guys are like taking all the good ones, okay? But there's plenty. I think
Do Neil
that-
Patrick Harris.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's exactly who I'm gonna go.
Yes.
Neil Patrick Harris, and that's another reason is because we shared a People magazine article together. But and I've met him a few times, so you know. But he's a great guy, and he's really
all about fun
represents
and
that.
play. It's just
Another
you,
Mike.
just
Sure.
like-
In that vein, let's continue on one other related area in celebrity hot topics and talk about the world's top entertainment lawyer was hacked. It's a very interesting story. And before we talk about it, we prepared a video on it. Watch this.
Entertainment law firm run by Alan Grubman confirming its computer systems were hacked. The hackers say they have sensitive information about several big star clients, and those hackers want $42 million in ransom. With us now is CNBC contributor Sue Gordon, former Deputy Director for National Intelligence. Sue, good evening. How does something like this happen?
Well, so what's interesting is over the last 3 weeks, we've seen the trifecta of cyber attacks, right? Cyber attacks to do influence, cyber attacks to go after an economic target in the pharmaceutical industry, and now criminal activity going after money because data are the coin of the realm. So the way it happens is there is sophisticated capabilities that are ever evolving to beat defenses, especially when the entities that have the data are a little lax in their protection. And so it's just a constant game of cat and mouse where offense oftentimes has the advantage if the defense isn't being protective.
$42 million ransom. Lady Gaga's in the data, Donald Trump's in the data, and by the way, whoever did this, I'm willing to pay $4 for the reveal on Donald Trump. Whatever you have,
$4.
$4 whole dollars.
You'll publish it. What do y'all think here in terms of this story? You think it's important? Do you care? Do you think LGBT America cares?
Well, all I know is that, you know, for all of us who have websites, we all have our own personal websites. You know, imagine if this kind of sensitive data is being able to be accessed by hackers who, you know, these guys have great security systems in place. How vulnerable do you think we are? And so we can't even keep up. And again, that comes back to, you know, our own security, going to your websites, giving your credit cards and purchasing things online. I think I sound like my mother.
No, well, I mean, we're already in a world of Big Brother where 1984 is happening, and the police can, if they choose to, check your phone or watch in or listen in on any of your devices. But the reality is that they need to do that because there are people that are doing exactly what we describe here and honing in on Lady Gaga, who of course every gay man wants to hear about, or Donald Trump, or, you know, whatever's the next Avengers movie. I know that Nintendo, the entire company, just had their entire Wii, which is the most successful the most successful video game console ever sold, over 100 million of them, hacked, and data from those games has gotten out, and it's a big deal. We're seeing hacking on the level that we've never seen it before, and this is literally the tip of the iceberg.
You know, I have to tell you, Napoleon expresses concern, but we've had this conversation. We reported on this in Q News. I said to Napoleon, aren't you concerned that all of your nude pictures are going to get out? And he said, what are you talking about? I publish them on Facebook. So no, he's not concerned.
They're on only just for fans, so make sure you go and subscribe. Napoleon Plays.
Anybody else?
Hacking is, was, and always will be a thing. So, you know, I'm not really surprised or too concerned about it. You asked if it's something that's a big concern of mine. I'm really not. I think it would really be newsworthy, and I would be concerned, pleasantly so, if they would release the information about Trump. That's where I would be interested.
Excited.
Other than that, yes. Other than that, this story really is a non-factor for me.
Any final thoughts here on the ransom?
I'm with her. She's non-factor. Like, who cares? I mean, what do they have so desperate on Lady Gaga, for example? What, she kissed a girl? What, she...
Ooh.
That was
got
Katie.
To be honest with you, being outside the fishbowl on this story, they've got something. because they would not be asking $42 million if there wasn't something that was big.
I bet Trump pays it.
Yeah, big.
What
All right,
except
let's
somebody
move out
else?
of this celebrity topic and move to the best thing of the week. Each
Yay.
week at It's Happening Out, we show you something. We continue to always talk about this kind of nerdy philosophy that's in our production. And if you were sitting looking at what I'm looking at right now, you would totally agree with me. And they select the best thing of the week. Now, I haven't seen it. None of us have. It's called Work From Home Fails. So let's see the best thing of the week.
Technology kills viruses in just one. What did you do, Mom? Dad, holy crap!
Solamente tenemos que registrar autonomía curricular y el área socioemocional de los niños, porque esa parte no está quedando bien. Perdón.
Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
See you guys.
What's up?
Tony, I can see you when you're
We can all see you.
So starting just quickly by breathing in.
3, 2, 1. Maple, just lean up here. I can do this. 3, 2, 1. Another night where we may have frost or a freeze for some of us. We'll show you when the warm-up finally gets here.
Now we're loving that, and of course you've seen all of this before because you watch It's Happening Out digital edition, and that is us. So what do y'all think about the best thing of the week?
Oh, God, that resonates with me so hard. You have no idea.
Everyone
With the
in
birds,
America.
I've been doing interviews from home these days, Zoom meetings, so many things, and I have a zoo who is an orchestra
Yeah,
in
we
the
heard
back.
when you were doing your mayoral announcement, we heard the birds going on through it.
I had so many people say, is she announcing for mayor with a bird in the background?
She loves animals. Go for her.
It's a symbol of all of the poppycock going on in the nation.
Right, right.
Make it work. You always have to make it work. That brought a lot
It's
of
cute,
joy.
though. It's endearing.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about the dad walking in his.
Exactly. Well,
Speaking
all right.
in a language we don't understand. And
So our production did a good job
That
this
was
week.
good.
Now we have a great standard of our best thing of the week. Let's continue on in talking about what's going on in the world, however you define the world. And we do this segment called What's on Your Mind, and it allows all of our hosts to kind of update us in what they think is important for the week. Of course, we're right in the middle of pandemic. We're opening. Pinellas County is opening. Polk County, where power is opening. We live in Broward County, and the different cities and the county are kind of at war here in South Florida about the opening. So there's likely a lot on our host's mind, and we give each of them about 30 seconds, and you're going to tell us what's on your mind this week. Let's start digitally because it'll be a little easier. Aaron, you tell us first. You're first back after 9 weeks. You probably have a lot on your mind, and I'm holding my bell because I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Go.
30.
Oh, God. I have an alarming amount on my mind, but that's not unusual either. I guess what's on my mind, at the forefront of my mind right now, I heard that I guess we picked a nominee for the Democratic candidate. I guess we decided on Joe Biden collectively. Which is what it is. And we could talk all day about that. But what I want to say, I guess, is to consider your vote very carefully and consider whether or not your protest vote might actually result in harming people like the trans community or people like immigrants who are, especially those who are detained at the border. Just consider whether you're throwing somebody under the bus by proving a point.
Yeah, very good point. I was going to cut you off, but your point was so good, I didn't. Power, tell us what's on your mind this week.
Well, first of all, speaking of the fails, you can see popcorn behind me.
Oh, there's my buddy.
Popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
But what's on my mind? I have two issues with the Democratic Party, and I just want to say this. And I'm going to call out my own party right here. first of all, I think that we are too idealistic when it comes to our nominee, because we want our nominee to walk on water and turn that water into wine. Meanwhile, you got the devil sitting up in the motherfucking White House right now. The second thing is that I think we're too damn nice. We're playing too soft. I'm up here in Central Florida. I have not seen one commercial for Joe Biden yet. But up here, and I don't know how it is down in South Florida, but up here, we are bombarded with Trump motherfucking commercials. Where the fuck is Joe Biden? Where is his commercials? Where is the news stories about him other than this Tara Reid bitch? I mean, what the fuck is going on? We play too motherfucking nice. We need to get fuck. I'm sorry, I love you, Michelle, but all that when they go high, we go. When they go low, we go high. Shit, fuck. That's for the birds.
You know,
That's for the motherfucking birds.
And all of the time, and you added one more, all of the time that I've known Power, I've never heard him in 30 seconds use the F word 19 times. Amazing, amazing.
When you're
passionate,
passionate,
here at the table, Napoleon, what's on your mind this week?
Maybe as a result of this election, but honestly, probably more COVID. As I've discussed on air, I am clinically bipolar, and I've been really stuck the last month, maybe a little bit more, in the depressive mode. And I notice it. I notice when I'm starting to stay inside, or even just want to stay in my room, where I feel like I'm bothering other people or just even my roommates by going out. And I know all of the habits. I know all of the things that trigger me. But it's still difficult, and especially with less to do. And I'm an introvert, but wanting extroverted things, it's hard. So I decided to take some time and see a doctor about it. I'm actually on antidepressants starting now, which in the past have made me very manic. But I'm excited to see how this might be helpful during it. And I encourage anyone else who's going through some mental problems and disparities during this hard time to really seek help or to come talk to me.
Napoleon gives us the opportunity. I know Aaron would echo right in immediately to this. Misty is a counselor at SunServe. Mental health is something that we should be keeping front and center. You cannot be isolated the way we are with COVID, with the effects of COVID, and not expect that there would be significant mental health, depression, and even worse issues. And we encourage you to reach out for professionals and friends and family to help you in this moment. And that's Napoleon.
Especially in the LGBTQ community, where we're already more prone to it.
Yeah. Misty, tell us what's on your mind this week.
Sure. I'm going to kind of piggyback on what you just said. Self-care is highly, highly, highly important, but also something I've said on the show before. Just because mom and dad say you're allowed to do it doesn't mean you have to do it. For example, we had a director's meeting today at SunServe saying, should we open or not? South Florida opened on Monday this week. We've officially decided to stay closed until June 15th. Just because our governor says we can doesn't mean we have to. And a lot of us are very concerned. A lot of our clients are high risk. A lot of our employees are high risk. And what does that look like? And there's still, I think today was 514 new cases of COVID in the state of Florida. So take care of yourself and maybe stay home.
Good advice. And Chef Josie, what's on your mind this week?
So, you know, mental health is obviously always on my mind, especially this post-COVID moment. But talking about specifically in this moment, guys, we have an opportunity to recreate what normal is, what our life looks like, what the world looks like, how we operate, how we engage, how we communicate, how we interact, and how we experience each other. This is the moment. This is the defining moment for all of us to step up, to answer the call, to recreate and dig deep. Let's take care of ourselves, obviously. Let's be compassionate in this moment, and let's reconnect to the things that matter. And let's take action and make it happen.
You know, for me, great point. For me, this week, what's on my mind is acceptance. The tidal wave of reopening is on us, and there's nothing going to hold it back now. But there's going to be dramatic consequences of it. And the number one consequence is we are going to accept dramatic increases through the rest of the year of cases of COVID, and we're going to accept very significant increases in the number of people that die. And we're going to balance that with our desire to be free, open, and moving forward. And we're just going to have to accept it, which means every issue and decision now is sitting on you. Your safety is up to you. The White House is not going to protect you. Your governors are not generally going to protect you. Your local communities are generally not going to protect you. You've got to make the right decisions, because that's what's going to happen now in COVID-19. That's our what's on our mind for this week. We move into a main topic of discussion that we want to talk about, which gets us into our mental health that we talked about. Melissa Etheridge's son died of an overdose this week. Before we have this conversation, let us show you something we prepared on it. Watch this.
Melissa Etheridge's famous friends are sending their love and condolences following the heartbreaking death of her 21-year-old son, Beckett Cypher. Rosie O'Donnell took to Twitter to share her support, writing, quote, "All my love to Melissa Etheridge on the loss of her beautiful baby boy, Beckett. No words, only love." Retweeting the Grammy winner's initial tweet confirming her son's tragic death, Jane Lynch posted, quote, "Love and comfort to Melissa." Melissa Etheridge's famous friends are sending their love and condolences following the heartbreaking death of her 21-year-old son, Beckett Cypher. Rosie O'Donnell took to Twitter to share her support, writing, quote, "All my love to Melissa Etheridge on the loss of her beautiful baby boy, Beckett. No words, only love." Retweeting the Grammy winner's initial tweet confirming her son's tragic death, Jane Lynch posted, quote, "Love and comfort to Melissa and Linda," referencing Melissa's wife, Linda Whalem. Quote, "I'm at a loss for words. Only healing love to you and Julie and the entire family," Elizabeth Perkins also penned on Twitter. Quote, "My heart is heavy for Melissa Etheridge, whose son Beckett Cypher has died at the young age of 21, George Taki tweeted, adding, quote, "Nothing is harder than a parent losing their child. We are with you, Melissa." I'm the Only One singer opened up about the tragedy on social media. In a heartbreaking note, she shared details about her son's cause of death, revealing that he had struggled with addiction. Quote, "Today I joined with hundreds of thousands of families who have lost..."
You move forward. We want to tell you, remember we told you at the top of the show, we're live. Power is currently is frozen in terms of access. We'll try to get him back as soon as possible. Melissa Etheridge's son dying from the overdose spurs us to ask about quarantine and how it's affecting depression and mental health, addiction issues, etc. What do y'all think about this tragic news, and in general, what's going on in mental health and addiction?
I think go for it, Josie.
It's been reported that there's been an increase of about 40% across the nation in cases of depression and suicide and chemical dependency, reverting back to these ways of coping. And we're seeing it every day. You know, especially our young people are going to be affected by this. This is something unprecedented. Us adults who have been living this life, we have some tools in our kit, but our young people are living in a moment that they were just starting to learn about life and how to navigate through it. They didn't even have enough tools in their toolbox to get through it. So it just, you know, my heart goes out to Melissa Etheridge.
And when we're talking about the LGBTQ community in particular, these are issues, especially when it comes to addiction and depression, mental health, that very much correlate to the LGBTQ community, which has a much higher rate of being or of succumbing to either of those things. I know I've talked on air about my own battles with addiction, that I had a year clean, and that this whole process with quarantine has made me freak out, and I lost that year. It's been a struggle for me to stay sober. What you saw me take before were just liquid shots of fun, which makes it sound like it was liquor. It wasn't. But just doing something and getting out of your head, your other coping mechanisms are all taken from you. It's why I've started riding a bike so much, because it's more difficult now with everything shut down and without human-to-human contact. So if you know anybody that could be struggling with either of these things, please reach out, because now is the time that we really do have to be human.
During this time, everything's on the rise. Child abuse, domestic violence between partners, depression, cabin fever, as well as addiction. Some of my clients, well, I've talked to many of my clients during this time, and some of them say that they're not triggered because they aren't seeing the people that would trigger them. But some of them are like, I'm absolutely triggered, but I'm staying home. And then, of course, many of our clients have relapsed. It's just a very real, scary time. My heart goes out to Melissa, and I'm sorry for her son.
Erin, any final thoughts you want to add before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough anyway when you are struggling with mental health issues, and now this really has exacerbated a lot of that for a lot of people. I'm a little, distracted, a little bit from this story because it rings a little too close to home. Since the beginning of quarantine, I had a good friend of mine take his life. And I think particularly for the trans community, this time has been really taxing and trying, myself included. And because we are kind of, like Napoleon said, we're kind of stuck in our own heads. And that can be dangerous for some people when you've experienced trauma or when you are already depressed, already have anxiety, etc.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we reach out to other people. I feel like a hypocrite saying that because y'all haven't heard from me in 9 weeks. But this is a reminder for me to take that lesson and practice what I've preached in the past, which is to reach out and get the help you deserve.
You're not alone.
Yeah, please do.
And Power, we got you back. Anything you want to add on Melissa Etheridge, or would you like to move on?
Oh, I feel very, very saddened by the loss, and I wasn't here to get the beginning of this conversation, but I don't know if I heard that her son had OD'd. I don't know if it was a suicide or it was just it was a heroin. Well, as somebody that suffered a loss of a family member recently, I can only empathize with her heartbreak, and my prayers and my thoughts go out to her and her family.
In a very, before we move out of it, in a very peripheral way, there is good news. And there is good news, and I hope everybody that is feeling depression or other related issues, even to the point of thinking about suicide, you are not alone, and here's the proof of it. Q News tonight, we reported of the crisis centers all over the world that are responding to the crisis of the moment. We reported in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Asia, in Canada, in Panama, in Ecuador, and in the United States. In the United States, crisis hotlines have increased in the LGBT community since COVID by 28%. Calls. Nigeria reported that the vast majority of people that were calling was not because they were asking for money or food or any aid that they might need, but just to be able to talk to a friendly voice. And so it is reassuring in a very mild way that we're all going through this. We're all going through this. And I think that that's important in this subject because you're not alone. And if you think you are alone, you're not. The LGBT community all over America is going through it. There are people sitting at this table that you would think would be just absolutely no issue at all. And it affects us, and it affects everyone we know, and it affects everyone that is in the LGBTQ community around the world. If you need help, reach out. The first person that you reach out to is your friend, your family, and then crisis hotlines. Please, it's very important you do that. We move on to the news of the day called Saved by the Bell. This is a lightning round of LGBTQ topics in the news this week and other headlines that will provide an LGBT perspective. Now I have my bell here. It's half red, it's half blue. Power represents the red side. All the rest of us represent the blue side. And that was a funny joke, Power.
I'm blue no matter who.
Exactly. And we're going to tee up a story, and then we're going to give 60 to 90 seconds to talk about it. And please, Erin, I need you to be in mid-sentence because when we get to the time, that's what you're going to hear. And Erin is contractually required to stop.
You've waited a long time for this.
I've waited so long for this moment. All right. So Let's play Saved by the Bell. Let's cue up these stories. Story number 1. The HIV medication remdesivir has been approved to treat COVID-19, and Gilead is giving it away for free.
This is one of those horror stories where we hear about Gilead, and anyone who's watched The Handmaid's Tale freaks out because we know what's coming. Women, I'm sorry if you're going to have rings in your mouth, because I can't help but think that's the future of them solving this crisis. Though please do solve this crisis. That's it. That's everyone.
This is the one where the first 8 people in the trial, right?
No. That's a vaccine trial that's going on. This is the drug that is being used to shorten the span of your infection.
Yeah.
We have to wait and see.
Japan's just taken on 5 million doses of it. The whole country of Japan.
Yeah, we have to wait and see, guys. We're in an experimental stage of this virus. We don't know enough. It's been about 4 months. That's how much data we have. Not enough people have been tested, and we're still in the experimental stages.
Yeah, we're in a unique situation with this COVID crisis in that this is maybe the first time when a crisis like this has hit every single community equally. It has to be looked at. When HIV was a thing, the government could just ignore it, or thought they could just ignore it and leave it to people. That's the gay people's problem. Now this affects everybody. So at least the good thing about that is that there are all hands on deck when it comes to research.
I knew I was going to get that. Thank you very much. Let's move on to our... Were you done? All right. Story number 2. Well, then I got to work harder. A news anchor this week in Minnesota, a television news anchor, was walking on a rail platform to work and was attacked for being gay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You guys can see the photo. He's adorable. I mean, it would be still tragic if he weren't cute, but it's even more tragic because he's cute. And I know, that makes me shallow, all those things. But at least now he's got a cool eye patch and can role play some really interesting things.
Oh, here we go.
I'm glad that he's able to be an advocate for what's happening, because I think of Minnesota as part of a very safe location to be LGBT. So to see this is very disconcerting, and I would blame MAGA for this.
Aaron, could you help me translate Napoleon's speak?
I think hot people should not be hurt, is what Napoleon said. Okay. But for those of you that didn't see the story, he was on his way to work, and a person threw something at his face and damaged his cornea.
Yeah.
And when he saw the footage and pointed out the guy was arrested, and he said, yeah, he appeared to be gay, and I threw something at him. It's 2020. I'm shocked that gay people are still being attacked. Unfortunately, trans people getting attacked on a daily basis is not news, but a gay man being attacked for being gay is news.
I have to put an asterisk there. A trans person being attacked or, God forbid, killed is news at Q News tonight.
Oh, it's definitely news. It's not a surprise, is what I'm saying.
I don't know if anybody else has been gay bashed on this panel, but as somebody who has been gay bashed,
and trans
Napoleon was joking, but in all seriousness, it's no sadder because he's cute or if he's not cute. I mean, it's a tragedy either way. In my situation, I was gay bashed actually 3 times on South Beach. Fortunately for me, I'm nastier than this poor soul was, and so when they tried to gay bash me, I ended up straight bashing them. But I hope that he recovers, and this is once again proof that we have come a long way, but we still have miles to go.
Miles to go. Your phrase echoes in my head almost every single week. It's a beautiful sentiment. We move on to Saved by the Bell, story number 3. The first service waiver was issued this week for a trans woman joining the Navy.
Wait, I don't know this story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
we covered it.
We covered it Monday.
Tonight.
Oh, I have school on Monday.
Yeah. So the first person ever that under Trump's regime
ban
has been allowed to continue to serve, even though they identify as trans.
And the Secretary of the Navy personally had to intervene to allow it to happen.
And
Shut up.
And it's only because they were there in 2016 when it was still allowed. Because if anyone applied after 2016, since Trump's been in office.
So she's already a Navy person.
Yes.
Okay.
Anytime
Well,
after anyone. Go for it.
There also may be a deeper layer to this too. And here's the thing. Let me put my glasses on because I got my notes here. It's very important. So a lot of people have filed for these waivers, these exceptions to the rule. The Justice Department or whoever passed this thing basically said that it would be decided on a case-by-case basis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read just straight from the director of the NCLR, what she said, because it's very poignant and wraps it right up. It's very striking that after the ban being in place for more than a year and a number of service members seeking a waiver, that the first time the military has acted one way or the other is with respect to the only person who has filed a lawsuit challenging the application of the policy. The lawsuit really jumps out as likely the reason that this particular waiver request has been acted upon. So basically what happens is because this particular trans woman had filed the lawsuit, now that this waiver has been granted that says, okay, you're an exception and you can serve, her lawsuit is basically going to be thrown out. So this is one of those smoke and mirrors things where don't get too excited that don't get too excited that it sounds like, oh, they're allowing somebody in. There's a deeper reason here.
Trump responds by being sued.
All right. Thanks for that addition. We move on to Saved by the Bell, our fourth story. Moderna, the injectable PrEP injection, is showing promising results in tests. Everybody know about Moderna? It's a shot. It lasts over 2 months so far in trials and considered 68% more effective than the oral daily pill.
I think this story is very important. Pre-exposure prophylactic is also very, very, very important. If you are having sex with a person with a penis, you should 100% be on PrEP. I'm glad they're doing injectable because a lot of times people are forgetting their daily regime. And if you skip a day, it puts you right back at being susceptible. So injectables lasting for 2 months is a huge praise report. I'm super happy about it.
You know, I can imagine that because a lot of gay people specifically are on PrEP. They like
38%. We learned this.
And yeah, only 38%, less than I would have otherwise thought.
Should be higher.
But I'm not shocked, and I would think that they would like it to be injected. I'm sure that could be a whole kinky way of going through it.
Coming out of your mouth.
I know that could be a way to get more people to do it. I mean, well, the ones that won't swallow probably won't take it injected, but you know, there's a whole lot of places you could go with that.
There's no cure for HIV, but there is a prevention.
Yeah.
This child's mind is always in the gutter.
It's been 3 months. Power.
Anything else
we're going
on
into the danger
injectable
zone,
PrEP?
so.
Any other thoughts? We have a little more time.
Aaron?
All right.
No, we all covered it.
We covered it. Saved by the Bell, story number 2. LGBTQ plus 2020 graduates joined together in isolation for a virtual choir chorus of the national anthem and then a salute to the 7.6 million high school and college graduates, including 570,000 LGBT graduates, the class of 2020. What do y'all think about the graduating class and what's happened to the class of 2020?
This was a monumental moment. It was inspiring, and it shared with everyone across the country the resilience of our human nature. Right now we're faced with a crisis, and these students, these graduates, were basically set up for a success. For me, that's what I see. They were set up for success. It was an invitation to be great. And forget about it. You mentioned it earlier. These kids will never be forgotten. They are part of the unforgotten class of 2020.
Absolutely.
You know, I have a cousin that is graduating this year, and I talk to his mom all the time about how he's not sure what he's going to do now because he's accepted to college. He missed out on all of those opportunities of prom, of all those end of the year things, and he's really still excited about graduating, but he doesn't know what's happening next. And when you add that on top of graduating, which is already when you're going to probably move if you're going to a different school or a different state, there's a lot of stresses to factor in. But plus the whole COVID pandemic, I can only imagine that this is a huge rebirth, and I hope that the people that are graduating right now can use it to be their phoenix moment and find some amazing thing to come out of this.
Most colleges are opening for fall semester, though, so
for now,
hopefully they could still go to school.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard the news today. Oxford University, arguably Harvard, Oxford, same class. Oxford has announced that they are not going to have in-person classes again until the fall of 2022. 2021.
Wow.
A year and a half.
We should be listening to smart people who go.
Hello.
Exactly, but that's
That
science.
won't be our country.
It's science. So likely the White House is not going to be listening.
Yeah, I'll be in my house until 2021 too.
Yeah. All right. So that's Saved by the Bell of LGBT stories that are happening this week. Let's move into something fun and also help satisfy Napoleon's horniness, as Power has made note of in terms of the
I
gutter.
did not sign up to help satisfy Napoleon's horniness. This is not
Usually I get paid for that, sir. So you can find that
Aaron,
later.
I just want to tell you, we've missed you for 9 weeks.
Oh, yes.
I'm just telling you, I needed an ally until you turn on me. All right, let's play our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. And everybody knows how this game works. We're going to show you 3 people. We move. I asked last week, let's do something a little more masculine this week. Not toxic masculinity, a little masculine this week. And we're going to do that in Shag, Marry, Chop. And you choose. Everybody at home, you know how we play this game, and you play along with us. Who would you shag? Who would you marry? And who would you chop? Now, this week, we're going to play Fantasy World Favorites. First, Legolas, the elf from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Alanon.
Isn't he? And then Alanon the Druid from the Chronicles of Shannara. And then finally, old school Perseus from the Clash of the Titans. Who wants to start? Shag, Marry, Chop, Fantasy World.
Jump in there, Misty.
Misty's jumping right in.
Speaking of cyber stalking, I have followed Alanon, the actor, the real life actor, on his Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook because husband the house down. Wow. But I will do it in order. Shag.
Hubby's going to enjoy his evening, is he?
He's not watching it. I think he's at work. My real husband's at work, I think, so he's probably not watching. I do not like guys with long hair. For me, Napoleon's hair is too long. But I'm going to shag Legolas, marry Alanon, and buy Perseus.
So wait, you said that you don't like guys with long hair, and you kept the one with the longest hair.
Alanon is my husband.
But you kept Legolas, who has the longest hair of all.
That's what I'm saying. I will take it for now.
Or
I'll
a quick
shag it
shag.
for a quickie.
Shag it, right, got it.
Okay.
Got
No, the elfin thing trumps the longer hair thing.
Yeah. Power, I'm really curious. Tell us who you would shag, marry, and chop.
Well, I would shag Perseus.
Really?
And yeah, I would shag Perseus. Yeah, he's cutesy or whatever.
That's cozy.
Whatever.
I would marry Legolas because he was fucking badass.
Yeah.
He was a badass elf.
The house.
And I'm sorry, what's the other child's name? Alanon.
Alanon the Druid.
I like him down, but he doesn't win out this time.
Oh, okay. And Aaron, I teased this at the top of the show. I love your commitment to angry sex. Your commitment this week to angry sex is?
Well, some things never change. You know who you are. You like what you like. And I'm gonna have to shag Legolas just to get it out of the way.
All right.
But I'm definitely marrying Alanon there for
Twins.
all of obvious reasons. And then I'm definitely chopping Perseus. What is that awkward movement he's doing? Why is he so just not coordinated?
Have you ever seen Clash of the Titans? I think it was from the 80s, was it? It's at least that old, 30, 40 years old.
No, I missed that one. I missed that stamp on my nerd card.
All right. And Josie, who would you shag?
All right, this might surprise you guys, but I'm shagging Alanon. He looks like the only one who could really take me on.
I'm not surprised because that would be my choice too.
And if you knew me in the old days, these are the kind of guys I really like.
You mean the non-lesbian days?
In my non-lesbian days. But I'm gonna marry Legolas because I'm into the whole fairy thing.
Yeah.
And and he's a warrior fairy, so that's totally up my alley. And then, I'm sorry, but Perseus, you gotta go. You're too pretty and too soft.
Yeah, he's
for
pretty.
me.
Yeah. All right, Napoleon, you're the horniest person.
I am. I also love fantasy world things, and I would love to interact with any of them in their fantasy worlds. But we have to make a decision. It's a game. So I am going to shag Perseus because of his relationship to the gods and the Titans, and just I feel like he could introduce me to some fun shags along the way.
Climber.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could be a one and done, fine, but he introduced me to more ones. And
Wait,
he's done more times.
Napoleon's going to shag Perseus because it gets him into Olympus?
He
Is that
just
what you
said he wants to shag them in their role, and
Zero to
he's
hero.
God.
What can I say?
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to marry. As much as his name kind of bothers me, I'm going to marry Alanon the Druid because of the same reasons you guys have said. He just looks really intense. He can clearly take. I mean, you see those tattoos, you see those scars. He can take a lot of pain. We're seeing him getting beaten over with swords and like giant wrestling mechanics. And
he
I think
talks like this.
Oh, even better. He's like the Batman. All right, and then unfortunately, as much as I want some elfin magic in me, I feel like I'm already fairy enough, and I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut Legolas.
Hashtag absolutely.
Retweet.
So Legolas, bye-bye. I'm sorry. You're prettier in other things.
Yeah. The only comment I have on this week's Shag, Marry, Chop is Alanon the Druid was fantastic in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was awesome in Game of Thrones. Shag, Marry, Chop this week.
Actually, if you guys had Alanon in his role in Spartacus, I would have definitely shagged him.
Oh, I forgot that.
He
The
was
Showtime
so hot.
series. Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
like
He
y'all
was
think
hot.
his body's banging in Chronicles of Shannara or whatever. You should have seen him in Spartacus.
Let's play that next week, where we because I thought it was Percy
Yeah, if
Jackson,
you haven't
Lightning
seen,
Thief.
have y'all seen
at first.
Spartacus?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
One of my
So we know, we agree with you, Power. All right, we're at the end of the show. That's Shag, Marry, Chop. We are getting ready to have some pizza here. We always end our show. It's very funny because production and the hosts love Wednesday night at It's Happening Out because we always talk about, we're going to eat pizza tonight. You would think that we've never ate pizza before. If David will help us along. As I'm working on having Jet's Pizza come. And
I heard y'all are having it delivered to myself and Power's houses as well. Thank you.
no,
to,
you're at the Best Western.
Yeah.
And come on in.
Girl, it'll get ice cold by the time it gets to you.
And I love your mask. Your mask is cool. This is the.
Can we see the mask or no? We can't see
No,
it.
I don't know how.
No, it's tight here. This is the cauliflower pizza. This one gets to be mine or Napoleon's. We both eat the gluten-free. And Jet's Pizza is great pizza here in South Florida. Very large sponsor of It's Happening Out. We thank you very much. All right, we're going to say goodnight. And before we say goodnight, we give each of the hosts, we get together in this routine. We've done it for now a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. You've made us the most popular live LGBT television show in the world. And all of our hosts are going to say goodnight to you. And let's start in our digital, sitting in their rooms at the Best Western here in Fort Lauderdale. Power, we'll start with you.
Well, good night, children. It's good to be back. It is good to actually have my family back on screen again. I would like to say, first of all, I wasn't here last week, but congratulations, Josie. And I cannot wait till hopefully Misty becomes an official part of our of our crew. As a regular host, not as a guest host. Hopefully that'll happen. But please keep on tuning in to us every single week. We are here, even though we are apart. We are still part of your lives. We're still part of your conversations. So just make sure to keep tuning in to It's Happening Out.
Thank you, Power. And to my friend who hasn't been with us for 9 weeks, Aaron Phoenix.
Well, good night, everybody. It was good to see you all again and good to talk with you all again. Keep hanging in there. We're going to get through this eventually. And whatever the new normal looks like, trust me, it's not going to be the first or last time that we all have to transition in one way or another to something different in our lives. This too shall pass. We'll be all right.
Absolutely. And to our stand-in at Q News Tonight and here at It's Happening Out, Misty Eyes.
Yeah, I just want to echo some of the things that we said earlier. We are all being affected by this pandemic. It doesn't matter what color you are, what you believe, what you look like, how much you weigh. You are not alone. We are all in this together. And you are not alone, so reach out and connect. FaceTime, call, text, Facebook message. You can message me if you need a therapist. We are currently on a waiting list, but you can get on the waiting list and you can get somebody to talk to.
And my friend Napoleon Plays.
Yeah, everybody, as they've said, it's a difficult time. I'm a theater kid. It's always been my background, and I've found my troupe to be a source of family. Mom, you too, but the troupe that I'm with all the time outside of it. It means a lot to me tonight to be able to be here with my family. Everyone's back. We miss you, Ron, but with that exception, of course, everyone's back and talking today, and it feels a little bit like a return to normal. So I encourage everybody to find what else you can do that might bring you back to who you are, because I know you've probably been using this time too to evaluate who you are and what you want out of life, and get back to what you might have lost that you miss, and go forward with all those things and dreams that you really wanted to in your whole life. So please do that while you play every day, every way, and join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
And my friend Chef Josie.
Good night, fellow humans. I want to simply remind you to access your compassion. Try to hold on to the kindness. Remember that you're human. One of my mentors said to me, the only way out is through. I always add to that statement, the only way through is together. So until the next time we see you, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive.
Lovely. I have two quick observations. One of which is, since COVID, this is a kind of a surreal. As I'm looking at this picture that you're looking at, America, it's kind of surreal. Since we started in isolation and what's happened over the last 3 months, certainly in COVID, It's Happening Out in Q News Tonight and Happening Out Television has moved into the most popular LGBT platform in the entire world. Alexa Analytics tells us today that we've moved into the elite 10,000. What that means is that our show, our video products that we're sharing, Q News Tonight, It's Happening Out, is being consumed unlike anything in the world in LGBT. We have moved into the same category as Out Magazine, actually a little higher than. Advocate, one of my favorite news publications ever in LGBT. Ahead of the HRC, ahead of GLAAD. And what that says is we are resonating for LGBT America, and you're watching what we're talking about and what we're doing, and as a result, like the 2.2 million of you that watched us in April, we thank you very much. We're trying to be dedicated to giving you factual information, and like with It's Happening Out, have fun. The second observation as I look at this picture is a return to the mental health conversation we had. I'm looking at a picture that I had a wave of grief wash over me when I first saw this picture tonight, which I completely didn't expect, because Ron Brzezinski is not sitting in this picture. We lost him to COVID-19. It is a reminder to me that mental health is so incredibly important in the LGBT community right now, because I'm feeling it right now. And for all of us, I echo a professional in this, which is Misty Eyes, in terms of counseling to all of us. If you need help, reach out. The first place you turn is to your left or to your right, to your friend. You turn to your family, and then you turn to professionals, a crisis hotline, whatever it is that you need. Because grief and the effects of COVID-19 are affecting us in deep ways that we may not even understand. It's why we're here. And we're going to be here every week for you. And that's why we've moved into the elite 10,000. And we thank you. So remember, if it's important to you, it's important to us. And every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock through this entire crisis, we're going to be here with you and try to lighten it up and have a little fun at It's Happening Out. Good night, America.